Hi, so this is my web pages. Upon clicking on the link, you will be landed on the homepage. So this is my homepage. I'm in the index.html. So in this index.html, as you can see, there is navigation bar, and on the navigation bar, you can see I have my logo here, which is I put some animation there, and there's also contact me here, which I also put animation there. So on this one, I only put the hover over it, and then there's also some drop lists here about there's personal interest on under about, and there's also extracurricular under education. So as you can see, I have my header here, and I also have my site, I also have my footer. So under my footer, as you can see, I have this clickable link, which is going to lead you to my email. So next, we're going to go to the student page. So upon clicking on the logo, we're going to be redirected to the student page. So on the student page, the same layout. The header, we got navigation bar, we got footer, as well as the site. So all of my pages use the same template. I make it like that way. So here is my biodata, my image that I've selected, and also there's my link here that I already put. So as you can see, when I scroll down, there's this button here which is going to lead me up, and then there's also this button here which is going to lead me back home. So that's also I put those also under all pages except for index because we're only home, so we don't need the home button. So as you can see here, the size is different to our own pages. So next we're gonna move on to the about pages. So under about pages, and also I'd like to note that every pages have different images over here. So this is the about pages, the title, the description. So I put some site here for about. I put Go Focus as its site. So here we have vision, mission, and also my resume. So this is my professional resume, and on this audio, as you can see, I put control over it. So which means that I can control it. So I can even adjust the playback. So whatever I want to do here, and then I also put some redirection here over about to redirect me to my sub pages, which is personal and interest. Or I can just go home and select other pages, or I can just go scroll up and select other pages. So here's my personal page and my summarize data over here. So if you don't really want to be reading a lot, you can also read it on my site, as I've already mentioned. So here I put some animation here. You can pause the read here, or you can go to my link later. So here's my button that I've put to be jumping to the interest page. Since it is under about, I think linking it together is the right move. So I'm going over to the interest page right now. So this is my interest page. I have some sidebar over here. Here's the community side. And as you have noticed, upon me entering here, I want to set my favorite song to go up to play on and which else if you want to. So I'm going to pause for the sake of talking here. So my hobbies are crocheting, music instruments, playing music instruments, and arts, fashion, and gaming. The pages, the images, you can click on it, and you just have to select this one. It's going to redirect you to YouTube if you want to stream it, and all the other images. So for this one, I've also set it to be able to be jumping to the personal page, and the personal page to be able to be jumping to the interest pages. So I'm going to scroll up to the further. I'm going to go to education next. So on education, the same template as always. Only difference is that the title and the image. So the image I've used here is the graduation hat for the sake of chronology. So if you don't want to scroll down too much, you can always read the summary data as I see it. So here, I'm going to show you here. This is my logo. I highlighted here the date. I changed the highlight color, and here you can actually click on it. It's a button, and it's going to show you my result. The same goes for my SPM result, as well as for for all the highlighted ones. So the buttons here, yes, this button is going to lead you to my school page. So let's say if I want to click here, it's going to lead to the machine. And if I click here, it's going to lead me to Taman Sisi Jaya. So yeah. So since this page linked to extracurricular, I've also put some button here. So here is my extracurricular pages. As you can see here, I put some embed here so that you can scroll without having to download it. This is my transcript to tell you about the recent activities that I've had here in Binti. So here's only the recent one. So every new SEM, I'll have to update it since we have to transcript every semester. So here also, if you want to read as usual, and here is the table. So I put some frame under it because I feel it's cuter like that, and also put the color scheme to be zebra to make it more pop up. So if you scroll more, here's my involvements, here's my images. So it's going to pop up, and also put some animation. Yes, I put some animation when you hover your mouse over it, and you can click on it, and it's going to zoom in. So I'm going to scroll up and go to skills next. So same as usual, the template, some header, the images, and here's the table. And here on the side, I put some zebra color scheme too to make it more pop up. And the table, I changed it a little with the coloring, and then I've also put some minute tag here. And the color is to be intended to show the level. Like beginner, it's going to be softer, and the more advanced it is, the darker the color is, like here in advanced. Scrolling down below, so if you can see these videos, I added it for autoplay. So both are going to autoplay at the same time if you scroll down. And as you can see, I put some control there, so you can pause easily. And then here is my academic portfolios. So here's the button, and I also embedded it so you can scroll without having to download it itself. So here is the Excel. So for this one, I didn't use embed, I used iframe because it's linked to my Google Drive. For iPortfolio, I also use embed, however, it's a little heavy, so it's not loaded. Next to certificate. And on certificate, as the name suggests, it's going to show you my certificate. So the message is going to pop out, and if you click on it, it's going to zoom in. And yeah. So I also have compiled some of the certificates. So the ones that I compiled, I've put on description, click image to see all. So here is the example that I've compiled. So once you scroll, you can see all the certificates in one click. So next, we're going to go to contact. So here's my contact pages, as usual, different image. And here I put some button here, and if you click here, it's going to download my resume. Yes, here's also some buttons. If you click here, it's going to link to my email. If you click here, it's going to link to my LinkedIn. And if you click here, it's going to link to my GitHub. So here is also a form. So I'm going to show you. So it's not going to be submitted if you're not filling in the data. So here I'm showing you the example of the errors. And as I've said, I've clicked the send button. It's going to refresh, and it resets. So we're going to back to the directories. Hi, Assalamualaikum. So this is my coding for HTML index. So first we're going to open HTML index first. So as you can see, here's all the needed HTML coding for If you just type in HTML5, it's gonna show all this. And I started with my title, and then my head and my body. So all of the script that I've made, I use some icons that I have redirected here on the script SRC, and then I've also added some JavaScript, and I linked it to the font that I'm using, as well as I have two fonts here, and then my style sheet. So scrolling a little bit down, I have my navigation bar. So first of all, I started my body with my navigation bar. So on my navigation bar, there's I use this button, and then I put the link on it, so it's gonna have button, link, button, link. So here's my hamburger. So this hamburger is linked to the JavaScript. I'm gonna show you. As you can see here, navigation hamburger. So on the JavaScript, I use this the hamburger, the menu button, and the back home, and the top button. So as you can see here, the navigation bar, the hamburger line is gonna be animated. I only use pen for that because it's easier. As I've said, here is a navigation bar and all the link to it. I've also added link to it. So here's my section setting. And I put some class on it. So this class are connected to the CSS. So over here, I've made quite a lot of CSS. So all of these have its own function. And I've also added some media to make it responsive to small pages too, small screen. So one of these class and style, we have some for navigation bar, we have some for the section header on top of it, the one with picture, and then we have sidebar, background, some drop down, some buttons. Mini tag is for the sidebar. I put some mini text. And here's the layout. I use script for it. And then here's my countless numbers of flexes because I use a lot of flex blocks. And yeah, so back to X. So here I put my aside. So my aside start with here aside, all the way over here. So all of this I have put in my aside. So next I'm gonna start with min. So I put directories, I put h2, and I put some classes for the images, and I also use the flex that I said I used. And here is my back to top button. So I use the icon that I have linked earlier, and then I name it to top, which has its own function to top inside this CSS. And then that's all for main. So most of my things are inside the style. So not much on HTML, but I did use quite a lot of attributes like product, some span, some classes, a lot of classes, and footer. So inside footer, I put some copyright things, my name, all reserve, and the recommended browser, sidebar, and all of the things needed. Okay, I'm gonna go over to student next. So everything is inside their own respective files. So just like index earlier, I use the same navigation thing, navigation coding, and then as for section, I also use the same one. What changes is that my image that I've used, and the wordings, yes. Continue on to the side, I did change here, so the H2 one changes because it uses words. So as you can see here, I use a lot of icons that I've downloaded. I have linked here, here, keep awesome font. That is the icon that I've used. And then we use a lot of H2, section, we use a lot of div to store the class. So this one I use dr2 to space it out evenly. So A to make it linking, and you go to footer. So for this style sheet isn't much different. The only difference is for coloring, for the width and all, that one I use different one. So here's the back home function, which is the button on top of the chevron back to top here. And everything, although they all have different CSS for each, but I only use one JavaScript for all of them. So next we have skills. I also use the same concept here. The only difference is that I put mini tag here because I put some on my skill web at the tables. Yeah, the ones with beginner, advanced, basic, intermediate. Yes, I put it under here. So I use also a lot of span because I feel like using span is the go-to. Yes, and then that's all for side. And then here's the table. I use the table head, the table body, and then here's how I did the zebra thingy. So I separated it by having it with class. So each class have different name. I'm gonna show you here. Here, as you can see, I put different colorings here. Okay. So I'm gonna go to skill next. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna go to personal next. So here's my personal HTML, the same as usual. I only each of this I started at 18. The rest is from the navigation itself. Sorry, I started at 52 because the navigation is the same. So starting with 52, we have personalized for each pages. So yes, I use aside as usual, H2 for it. Use some BR, H3, aside. I use main to sectionize it, like aside and main, yes. And I use a lot of things. Some paragraph, some footer, and then here's the CSS. I use a lot of class, and each class have their own. For example, I have flex content card. However, I want to more personalize it more, so I have flex content card for the H2, for the P, for the images. Each have their own style. The same goes for the rest of them. Because I use the same template, it's actually the same for all. So here's the files I've used, and I've also linked some. So maybe the ones that I've is in the interest. In interest, I did use video. Attribute. Here I use video, I use some control, and then I also use SRC a lot too. Yes, and I also use some poster at audio. Yes, and then the same for about. The CSS is also similar. I use a lot of flex, background, content, navigation, button, the hovering, the linking. So this one I did use some things that I didn't use, which is pop over. So when I click on it, it's gonna pop over, and the target is gonna be So each I use this pop over and pop over target. And for content, I did use some flex to make it into a form, and then the button to back home, etc. And the footer. And that's all for the backend. That's pretty much it. It's quite straightforward. The HTML, what differentiates each of them is the style sheet. Yeah, thank you.